Calling is something you should avoid. If you knew about it and didn't buy it, your progeny will loathe you. I mean, it's inevitable that they will despise you and still hold you in high esteem. A full coin is going to be worth $10 million, by the way, so it would be wise to forego buying that pricey car and put all that money toward buying that coin instead. For me, it's all very clear. Still though, most people either don't notice it because they're asleep at the switch or they're biased against buying it because of their biases. By the conclusion of calendar year 2024, I find it impossible to believe that we won't have hit 100,000. Also, I believe we go around 200 or 300 km on this cycle. Your offspring may hold it against you if you were aware of Bitcoin but chose not to purchase it when it was first released. Having said that, people would regard you as a legend if you were to get even a fraction of a Bitcoin, let alone a whole Bitcoin. Why? Reason being, experts predict that a single Bitcoin will be worth $100 million. One of the things I learned from my most recent conversation with Larry Lepard was this. You can find the complete interview on the Crypto Nutshell channel. Just click the link in the description below. The conversation delves into Larry's present outlook on Bitcoin, his belief that its price will reach $300,000 per coin during this cycle, and his prediction that its price will eventually reach $10 million per coin. We also discuss the similarities and differences between the early internet and Bitcoin, as well as whether or not investors have passed up the opportunity to view the entire interview. Click on the link that is located at the top of the description. So let's get right down to business with Larry Lepard. Many readers of our newsletter have expressed concern that they may have been too late to invest in Bitcoin. Due to increasing living costs and people's incapacity to allocate as much wealth, the goal has changed from owning one complete Bitcoin to 0.1 Bitcoin. In the event that newbies or early investors in Bitcoin feel they have missed the boat, how would you respond to them? No one has, as far as I can tell. I mean, I really believe that this is only the beginning. It will increase by a factor of 10 twice. From an investment perspective, it would be foolish to pass up an opportunity that could multiply by a factor of 100. And 1,000 in the next 15 to 20 years. Oh, I see. Point 1 isn't going to have a significant lot, in my opinion. Having a complete pointer will, in a few years, be a huge issue. Therefore, I don't believe you will miss the boat. Please, I really believe that you must comprehend the current situation and the potential for this to further increase in value. As an example, you brought up Microsoft, and I recalled a time in Madeira when I was performing with Sailor Lynn and Preston. At the time, the stock was worth hundreds of dollars, and I had purchased it for what would be 6 cents after adjusting for splits. The total was something like 4,300 times your initial investment. I see. Seriously, it's insane. And, I purchased it in, I believe it was 1,986 or 1987 when they went public, and I sold it a few years later to acquire a Minium because I had profited from it. With 3 acts under my belt, I had proven to be a worthwhile investment. But I had to have that cash in order to pay my rent. Consequently, I'm not really upset with that choice. I'm still fuming about the fact that I should have sold 2/3 of it, kept 1/3 in case you don't want to know, and found a way to get the other third. I could have likely located it. Some things I could have done differently would have allowed me to get the additional third, but anyhow, I believe the most important point is that individuals fail to recognize the benefit of compounding an investment at a rate of 20 to 30% each year for several years. This is the foundation upon which immense wealth is formed, like Microsoft, which owned the protocol, so to speak, for running PCs. This is an incredibly valuable asset that no one else has. Computers were on the cusp of transitioning from a luxury item that supplanted typewriters and Wang word processors to a ubiquitous household item, with 6 computers in per household. And their product was required by each and every one of those that used Microsoft software. Plus, Apple stepped in and offered a substitute, as you might expect. However, the main idea is that, well, that's exactly what's going to happen in this situation. In other words, Bitcoin will be the de facto currency of the next century, and everyone will require it. I mean, look at you. It's almost surreal. Here's an opportunity to invest for the next 15 years or for something that could endure for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Sure, it's still not too late. Actually, it's not too late for you. Well, I suppose as far as I'm concerned, the best course of action is to stock up on Bitcoin while you can, put it out of your mind, and relax knowing that your wealth will grow exponentially. Both in Bitcoin terms and in fiat terms, as the cryptocurrency gradually supplants currency. Well, it is the crux of the matter. Well, in the end, some people think it's just magic internet money or a bubble or something like that. But the truth is, this is a technological innovation, the invention of provable digital scarcity, and none of those things apply. Well, I must say, I'm a big fan of Saylor's recent speeches in which he discusses the irreversible nature of discoveries and how they alter the course of history. I mean, he was just talking about how, when someone invented the perfect clock, we could finally. I've been to Greenwich Mean, the Greenwich Mean Academy or Greenwich Mean Station in London, where they taught sailors how to set their clocks to a certain time so they could use a sextant to shoot the stars and find their location, effectively making navigation a thing of the past. As an analogy, think about how the development of better optics led to a direct challenge to the Copernican model of the relationship between stellar circulation and Earth's rotation. All of a sudden, it hit us we're actually circling the sun, not the other way around. So imagine this: the printing press is released. Who could have predicted that the church would collapse, allowing everyone to read? Would anyone have thought that libraries would spring up? Or that the internet would emerge, allowing anyone, anywhere to instantly access any piece of information? You can't really predict these kinds of things, and yet, here we are with a new currency that finally addresses the one issue that has plagued all previous monetary systems for millennia. Money has been debased for thousands of years. End of story. Even gold has been debased at some point throughout the course of thousands of years. As for gold, it increases in value at a rate of 1.7% a year. There will be twice as much gold in the world in 40 years. It is degraded. Monetary debasement has been an inevitable part of human history for thousands of years. But that is far more stable than fiat, which has been increasing in the US at a rate of 7 or 8% per year since 1971. Bitcoin just made that possible. Fixed it perfectly. Not at all, all right, oh my God, well, would you believe it? We addressed the difficulty and now the world will look very different. Am I correct? And the question that no one seems to be asking is, what does that mean? Just how drastically will things change? Furthermore, I am completely unaware. Could I have predicted that I would do all my shopping on Amazon? The internet has taken turns I never would have imagined. In less than 24 hours, I was planning to have something delivered to my house. That is really unexpected. I had a feeling that was going to happen when I invested in dial-up internet, but I also understood that emailing people on the other side of the globe would be a valuable use of that technology. Thus, I made an investment in it. I see. Furthermore, are we aware of the future of Bitcoin and its potential applications? No, we don't. Nonetheless, we are aware that Bitcoin eliminates currency debasement, and it has been a major issue for human civilization for a very long time. So we recently found a solution. Now I'm going to wager on that. As time goes on, I have a feeling that rational, independent humans like you and me, along with everyone else who has used Bitcoin, will all agree that this fixes the issue of monetary debasement. Some of it would be great for me. Sure, we can make advantage of that. I don't see the point in pricing anything in fiat since, even though it can be diluted. In practical terms, I will not be repaid. I would prefer to get reimbursed in Bitcoin, I think it's hard for people to wrap their minds around it, but once you do, there's essentially no turning back. When your generation looks back, they will. Wonder why I didn't make light of it. One could argue that, as capital is the most important factor, capitalism relies on maximization of both efficiency and output. In accordance with what Adam Smith taught us about supply and demand, everyone benefits when a baker makes bread. The baker then pays the farmer for the wheat, and the buyer pays the farmer again, and the cycle continues.